Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to continue going over the green cards coming out in set 13, talking about King Cold. So if you guys are new here, definitely subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss any Dragon Ball Super content. If you guys want to help support the channel, there are many ways down in the description to do so, particularly today. If you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards you see in today's video, be sure to use my link in the description to TCG Player. It does give the channel a small kickback. It really does help out a lot. That being said, let's get started. Alright, King Cold. Very weird strategy, but so far from testing and seeing people play the deck, it looks okay. There might still be more to uncover here before I'm ready to call it like a really good deck or a really bad deck, but it's definitely very interesting. So let's give it a read. So we got the Unawakened Leader, permanent. When activating a field skill of a green extra card with an original energy cost of 2 from your hand, reduce that card's energy cost by 1. So all your 2-drop field cards become 1 cost. That might have been to stop the deck from auto-losing to like Piccolo, Arena Wrecker possibly. When this card's placed in leader area, activate 1 King Cold's Dynasty from your deck. We'll read that in a second. Auto once per turn, when you activate a green extra card with an original energy cost of 2 and the field skill, add up to 1 card from light to hand and draw 1 card. A little bit strange that the draw on the Unawakened side is conditionally tied to activating field cards. Let's keep reading. Awaken relates 4 or less, switch 2 of energy to active mode and flip this card over. It's so rare nowadays, it feels like, that we get just a raw untapped 2-liter. That could be quite good. King Cold, ruler of the Galactic Dynasty, permanent. When activating a field skill of a green extra card with the original energy cost of 2 from your hand, reduces energy cost by 1. Auto once per turn. When you activate a green extra card with the original energy cost of 2 and the field skill, draw a card. Interesting. So I think the turn you awaken, you're able to draw both on your unawakened and awakened side as long as you activate 2 field cards, so that's not bad. Activate battle once per turn, choose 1 green extra card with an energy cost of 2 and the field skill in your battle area and place in the owner's drop. This card gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. So we'll have to see what those extra cards do in terms of, you know, how often you want to sacrifice them to give your leader a power boost. But I imagine that's going to be what the deck wants to do a decent amount of the time. Let's give King Cold's Dynasty a read. Barrier field, so this thing is pretty much never leaving the board. Permanent, if your leader card is a green King Cold BR card, you can place any number of mono green extra cards with the field skill in your battle area, and your mono green extra cards with an original energy cost of 2 and the field skill don't cause any of your other extra cards with a field skill to be placed in the owner's drop areas. That's a huge wall of text. It kind of trips me up. Like, I understand you can just play all your field cards and none of them ever go to the drop, because normally with normal game mechanics, when you play a new field, your other field goes to the drop. But it specifically says energy costs of 2 don't cause any of your other extra cards with field to go to the drop. So I kind of just wondered, like, if you play Frieza Army Healing Pod, for instance, does that cause your other fields to go to the drop? I don't think Frieza Army Healing Pod has a great synergy with the deck anyway. You're probably not going to play it. But just that wording trips me up there a bit. Maybe someone could explain that to me in the comments. Permanent, you can't activate extra cards with the field skill that are copies of extra cards with the field skill in your battle area. So it seems that you can, once you have a field card in play, it seems like you can't activate the same copy of the field card. So that makes sense with your leader being able to sacrifice those fields to then replay a new one that you need to get down if you already have that in play, if that kind of makes sense. Very confusing, very interesting archetype. But before we get into the fields, let's see what the Unison does. King Vegeta, Umbral, Invader. We have a 2-drop 15k Unison. Activate main +1. Choose a mono green extra card with an energy cost of 2 or less and the field skill in your hand and activate it. So once you have the Unison established, you could play a field for 0 energy every turn. That's pretty good. Activate main -1. Your opponent chooses one of their battle cards with energy cost 5 or less and KO it. I don't think you'll do that all that often, but it is there if you need it. Activate battle -3. This card gets triple strike and 5,000 power for each extra card in your battle area with the field skill for the turn. So I've seen many King Cold players have like 4 different field cards in play at once. So that would bring this guy up to a really big power level. 35k triple strike on the -3. This Unison seems quite good for the archetype, giving it both finishing power and a little bit of added consistency, saving you a bit on the energy costs. Then we got 2 of the field cards, Anticipated Onslaught and Terrified Realization. Anticipated Onslaught is a 2-drop, says field auto. If your leader card's a green King Cold BR, when this card's placed in a battle area, draw 1 card. Then choose up to 1 mono green Frieza Clan or Frieza Army card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. We'll have to see a few of the different mono green Frieza Clan or Frieza Army cards we can play. There are some within the archetype, so that's not bad. But it's nice that this card plays and draws, so your leader is actually a true +1 in that sense. Auto once per turn. When a green extra card with a field skill in your battle area other than this card's placed in the owner's drop area by one of your skills, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. So when your leader procs to pop one of your field cards, you get some free removal, which is pretty cool. Terrified Realization, 2-drop field, permanent. If you have 4 or more extra cards in your battle area with with the field skill. Your green Frieza Clan battle cards get plus 5,000 power during your turn. Auto, when this card's placed in the battle area, add up to 1 card from light to hand, then draw 1. So same thing, this does draw a card, which makes your leader a true +1. And again, I've seen it many times. Getting 4 more fields in play seems pretty easy. So far, these two, I do like them quite a bit. Then we've got Unstoppable Invasion, another field card. Auto, if your leader card's a Green King Cold BR card, when this card's placed in the battle area, add up to 1 card from light to hand, and one of your leader cards gets plus 10,000 power and double strike for the turn. So that, with the backside of the leader, pretty much turns you into a 35k double striker, paired with your Unison being a potential 35k triple striker. So far, so good. When this card's placed in the battle area, is placed in a drop area, by one of your skills, choose one of your opponent's using cards and remove a marker from it. Not bad. It is pretty nice. These things have quote-unquote floating effects, and what I mean by that is when they're popped or removed from the battle area, they do get some sort of effect, so you get additional value out of them. Next field card, a new ruler. Auto, when this card's placed in a battle area, add up to 1 card from life to hand. Then look at top 3 of your deck, add up to 1 mono green card among them to your hand, and place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Top 3 search for any mono green card. That seems really strong. Like, grab Dormant or any other green card you need that isn't necessarily tied to your archetype. That seems quite good. Auto, when this card's placed in a drop area from a battle area by one of your skills, draw a card, then choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. Okay, so all these field cards to me have quite good effects. The only problem I'm seeing so far with the deck is that you know, you're playing a ton of extra cards, which always hurts the combo power department, right? So when you're not able to combo out of a clutch situation, whether it's like a big crit, maybe from like 3-2, or the game-ending shot, not being able to combo out there definitely seems like it could hurt. But again, we'll have to keep reading and see what the cards do. Maybe they tie that up somehow. We have Cooler, Vicious Ambush, 2-drop 15k. So this is a 2-drop playable off of one of the fields we read earlier. But he's a critical auto, pay a green. If your leader's green, when you activate a green extra card, play this card from your hand. You can't play copies of this card for the turn. So a pretty cheap crit striker, definitely not too bad. But we've seen cards like this with like the yellow Dispo if you have a yellow Unison in play. I don't know how great this will be necessarily, but it is an option. Cooler, Effortless Strike. This card's insane. Counterplay, play this card. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it's placed in the owner's drop area instead of being played. Permanent during your opponent's turn. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each green extra card in your battle area and drop area. So the potential to become a 1-drop, basically preemptive strike. We see this in Evolution Booster with the blue Android 18. A great thing they're adding to these decks. Both of them say they're only during your opponent's turn they get the energy reduction. So that does make them a bit weak to things like Topo, for instance. Like the turn you're going for game, if they Topo you, unless you pay for energy, this card's not really going to interact with that, which is a bit unfortunate, but still an excellent card. Auto, when this card's played, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, they choose 1 card in their hand and discard it. A little bit more hand rip, not too bad. And it's not like the D-Gen type of hand rip where, you know, it kicks the opponent when they're down. Like if they already have a low hand, they pitch one. This card's not going to quite work in that way, which is definitely pretty good. Then we've got some of the other mid-game cards for the deck. We've got Frieza, Demolisher of Planet Vegeta, 1-drop, draw a card. Auto, pay 2 green, choose 1 green extra card with energy cost of 2 or less, and the field skill in your battle area, place at the owner's drop. When this card's played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and KO them, and this card gets plus 16,000 power and double strike until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay, so you play this and you get an immediate board wipe, and there is a field card that can play this. So with your Unison, for instance, let's say you're on like a turn 3, turn 2, played your Unison, uptick, play the field card, lets you play this card, and then for 2 energy you get a board wipe and then a pretty big beater on top of that. That's actually kind of insane, I would say. This is a very, very good card for the deck. Frieza, Revived and Reviled, 4-drop 20k dual attack blocker. Permanent, reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for every 2 green extra cards in your battle and drop area. Auto, once per turn, choose 1 green extra card in your battle area with the field skill and 2 or less and place in the drop area. When this card activates its blocker skill, switch to active mode. That's pretty cool. Swing once on your turn, your opponent's turn, double block, and it does pop a field card that will trigger something to interrupt your opponent during their turn, which does seem quite good. Golden Frieza, Pinnacle of the Clan, 5-drop, deflect, double strike, reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for every 2 green extra cards in your battle and drop area. Activate main once per turn, choose 1 green extra card, basically one of the field cards, place it in the drop area, choose 1 of your opponent's cards in your hand and up to 1 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, place them in the owner's drop, then switch this card to active mode. Alright, seems pretty good. So keep in mind, the most you can reduce both these Friezas to, the regular Frieza, you could drop it down to a 2 cost, the other Frieza can be down to a 3 cost. I think it's actually gonna be very, very easy to make these guys lower their cost. Even the 5 drop, bring it down to a 2, or to a 3 rather. I think it's gonna be quite easy. Keep in mind, this also seems to count other extra cards, like if you're playing Dormant Potential Unleashed, for instance, that should also drop the cost of both these cards, which does add some nice synergy to the deck. But so far, I'm liking what I'm reading. This seems quite good. Next up, we've got Berry Blue Frieza Advisor. 1-drop auto when this card's played, like a top 7 of your deck. Add up to 1 green unison with specified cost of 2, or a green extra card with the field skill, then shuffle your deck. So to search most of the things you need in the deck, you'll probably play 4 copies of this. Activate main once per turn, pay a green if your leader is a King Cold BR card. Activate 1 mono green extra card with energy cost of 2 or less in the field skill from your drop area. So that's actually amazing. You get some of the recyclability back of the field cards you had to sacrifice throughout the course of the game. So even if they're in the drop, they're not lost to you, which is great. Royal Supremacy, we have a counter attack, negate the attack, then choose any number of your opponent's battle cards whose total energy costs add up to 3 or less and KO them. Permanent, if you have 3 or more green extra cards with a field skill in your battle area, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. So it's almost like a sparking, shocking death ball that actually pops a higher cost of cards and doesn't cost you a life. This card, excellent in the deck. King Cold Supreme Ruler, 3-drop, 15k, counter attack, negate the attack, and play this card. Permanent, reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each green extra card in your battle area. Auto, when this card is played, your opponent can't attack leader cards for the turn unless they choose 1 card in their hand and discard it each time. So a soft topo kind of. This actually, it's more like a Gohan baby's minion. Man, this is looking like a really serious green control deck. I think it's actually looking really, really good. All right, guys, last but not least, I didn't get to talk about this card last video where we talked about Chilled because the TPs weren't revealed yet, but honestly, this is playable in any green deck. I think this card's absolutely incredible. Chilled the Assailant, 3-drop, 20k deflect. When this card's played, play 2 Chill's army tokens, 10,000 power. I'm going to skip the activate main to go to the second activate main. Once per turn, choose up 2 of your Chill's army tokens. They get plus 5,000 power for the turn. Okay, notice the deflect, notice 20k. This is a 3-drop Obuni for green. Yes, you get 1 less token, but you also have to wait, 1 less turn to play this card. In that respect, this card is excellent. Literally giving green a, cheaper Obuni. That's really strong. The other activate main makes this card even better. Activate main, pay 2 green, discard this card from your hand, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost less than or equal to the number of cards in their hand, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So almost like a concentrated destruction Kaioken Goku. This card's absolutely incredible. Very strongly considering playing it in the King Cold deck. But so far, guys, I like King Cold a lot. Not 110% sold on it, but I do think it's really good. Definitely worth testing. I'll definitely get back to you guys on what I think about it after I test it more. But anyways, I want to know in the comments below what you think about King Cold. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.